to jump on and talk about some issues that doesn't seem to be reaching a lot of people in their audience. And that is our good friend B has been in court for corruption in Tel Aviv. And I have been looking into this more and more. And I just wanted to give you a timeline of what's going on so that you can be on the same page as what's going on. Okay? The top news related headlines that relate to Israel is that the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is now seeking to testify 3 times a week for his corruption charges. And isn't it interesting that the day those came about is the same day Qatar was bombed and the Hamas leadership was bombed? And then right after that, Syria, right after that, Tunisia, right after that, Yemen, all to distract you from the fact that he is in court to this day as we speak. And it's been several years that they have been trying to get him into court, and unfortunately, every time there's either been security breaches, there's either been a war, there has been attacks, and so when the country is at a state of war, they don't have proceedings. Same thing with Zelensky. See, Zelensky can't be brought to trial because they're in an act of war, and under their constitution, they cannot be taken to a trial. So I want to just read something to you that I have been researching for a while. And it says the regional conflicts and strikes that have taken place in the Middle East because of the distraction that they want to create so that you don't look at what is actually happening in Tel Aviv right now, is that in the span of 72 hours, Israel carried out strikes in Palestine, Lebanon, Syria, Tunisia, Qatar, and Yemen. These actions have drawn international criticism and have been described as unprecedented in the scope. Unprecedented, which means it's never happened before. Mossad refused ground operations in Qatar. Reports indicate that Mossad refused to carry out the ground operation to kill Hamas leadership in Qatar. The Israeli Defense Force has targeted Hamas leadership in Doha, but the operation faced complications and led to tensions with Israel's security establishment. Isn't that interesting that in the same time that he is going to court, these strikes have been taken on? And I think it's because of the distraction that there's created so that we do not investigate any further. So much more that I'm willing to bet that the Charlie Kirk incident, public execution, we should call it, because I don't think it was an assassination at all. I think it was an execution. And I think it was a horrible thing that happened. But one thing that I want to emphasize is that the Charlie Kirk incident that happened, they also was a distraction for the North Americans, for the Americans. And did you understand something? Is that the distraction that was created was so that the American people do not realize what is going on in the rest of the world, such as Nepal. Nepal right now is overthrowing their government, and you know who's doing it? The students. Yeah, people under the age of 25. And everybody in North America is scared to go outside of their house right now at the age of 25 because of all the violence that's going on. They say that it's gang violence, but it's not gang violence. It's violence caused by having too much freedoms in America, and people, once they have too much freedom, they most of the time will spend it on negative things. And I will give you examples on this, but I want to just finish this part of the program, and that is on September 10th, a conservative activist, Charlie Kirk, was fatally shot in speaking event in Utah. The assassination was sparked widespread condemnation and raised concerns about the political violence in the United States. They want you to believe that it's political violence, and that's where they want people to be, because they want us to fight against one another rather than fight the establishment that has created this environment for people to lash out. You see, folks, we're not in a race war. We're not in a political war. We're in a class war. And the different classes are now clashing. And due to the internet and due to the freedom of speech that we have, they're going to start minimizing and taking this platform away from us because too many people are starting to sound the alarm. You see, I'm a 54-year-old male, and I've watched political upheavals throughout my lifetime all over the world. And one thing is for certain, and that is that 90% of the revolutions that take place around the world are from students and people who are young, because they can see the atrocities that are taking place by their parents' age and that age group, and they don't want to repeat that. And so what they do is they uprise. What's going on in France right now? They are without a prime minister for I think it was for the 6th or 7th time. And this means that an average of 6 months is what a prime minister lasts for in France. And I think it's just a time where they come in, they pad their pockets, and they leave. They don't really care about what's going on in France. See, the thing is, I want to explain to people is that they don't have the ability to fix it, right? You can't get the people to fix it that broke it. Right? You can't get the same people that broke the system to fix the system, because they're not able to do such a thing. What they do is they kick the can down the road, and they think that somebody else will do it. And at the end of the day, none of it gets done. Look at the infrastructure, look at the healthcare system, look at how we take care of our veterans, and none of it makes sense. You would think that one of the people that comes into office would say, hey, this is an important mandate, we're going to address it. Trump, on the other hand, will lose his base in the next few months. As soon as the midterms comes up, he's finished. Look what's going on right now in Argentina, right? Milei is coming up for election, parliamentary elections, not the federal elections, but the parliamentary elections next week. And you're going to watch the Argentinian dollar crash to the point where it's going to be worth nothing. Milei was the guy who was supposed to come and fix it, but what did he do? He sold out to the IMF. BlackRock came in, took all of the resources out of Argentina, and what did the people get? Nothing but more unemployment and inflation. The similar thing is happening to the United States, where the powers that be are inflating everything. Things that used to cost $1, even at the dollar store, nothing costs $1 anymore. Everything has inflated to astronomical levels. And the reason that this has happened is because there's only two instruments left in our system: inflation and interest rates. That's the only tools left in the toolbox of the powers that be. But I digress. What I'm trying to talk about is the distraction that's taking place throughout the world right now, to take your eyes away from the fact that Netanyahu is in court right now as we speak on corruption charges, but nobody ever speaks of it. Not one news agency has picked this up. But in close, as I close on this chapter, but Bolsonaro, the former president of Brazil, he's on corruption charges, and guess what? He just got 28 years. Do you think Bibi's gonna get the same fate? I don't think so. And there you have it. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Please share, follow, and subscribe. I need you.